After nearly 2 years of wild price appreciation, the housing market is finally showing cracks. Damage that everyone seemed to be worried about earlier this year is finally appearing in the data. While most indicators are months behind in terms of real-time developments, this Redfin report is one of the most up-to-date and accurate pieces in today's market. With access to one of the largest real estate databases in the world, Redfin's monthly update is the go-to for up-to-date fresh data, and the newest update has a lot of experts shook. To begin, the report starts off with a massive pending sales number that shows that pending sales are down 35%, the worst decline in the last 8 years. Everyone had already expected a slowdown in the coming months, with housing prices rising to all-time highs and record high appreciation over the last 3 years, but analysts were shocked at the pace of this decline. Redfin's chief economist was quoted saying, "Now both mortgage purchase applications and pending sales are below 2018 levels." A 4-year setback is a serious correction. With mortgage rates still elevated, we are in for further sales declines, but those should eventually bring price relief to those who need to move this winter. Now, obviously, this might be seen as good news for buyers, but price declines may not be enough to alleviate the recent developments in the mortgage market. With the average 30-year rate now above 7%, the actual cost to own a home has risen over 50% year over year. Americans are now paying over $2,500 a month for the average mortgage, which means that even if prices declined over 50%, which has never happened before in history, not even during the '08 crash, the average monthly payment given the current interest rate environment would still be around the same amount we were paying back in early 2020. This double whammy of historic prices with historic rate increases has quite literally pushed the market into a standstill. Look at the rest of the data and you will see what's happening firsthand. New home sales are down over 21% year over year. Supply is surging and price reductions are going to levels we have never seen before. While some may argue that median prices remain elevated, which is quite true when we compare them to 2021 and 2020, it's the pace of this fall that has everyone worried. We have seen a 7% decline since June, which annualized means that homes are declining at record pace, never before seen. If this were to continue, we would see prices fall over 20% in 1 year, possibly more. Now, if this actually materializes, nobody knows, but all the signs are clear. Mortgage applications are down over 45% year over year, signaling that consumers are throwing in the towel. Now all that is left is for sellers to capitulate. The Vegas market, which is often looked to as a leading indicator for the entire United States, gives us a few clues for what is to come. In February, this blazing hot market had a record low number of price reductions. Only 10% of homes were forced to reduce prices to entice buyers. Today, that number is over 44%. The median home price in June was $477,000. Today, just 5 months later, prices have come down over $50,000. And sure, if we zoom out over the last 5 years, this isn't much of a reduction compared to those pre-2020 prices, but once again, we have to focus on the pace here. Never before in history have we seen such a dramatic deceleration. The last housing crash took years to bottom. This one is looking like it's going to be a wreck if this type of slowdown continues. The most dramatic chart we can look to visualize this demand destruction is this: the number of homes sold over list price. At one point this summer, this was 60%, meaning more than half of all homes would receive a bid higher than what they were listed for. Now sellers are facing a very different reality, as this number has fallen to 16%, equal to numbers we have seen pre-2020. It's no secret that the housing market affects the economy in ways we can't accurately measure, but we know that the housing wealth effect is real based on numerous studies and data. Now that home prices are cooling, we can expect more bad news ahead, as these same catalysts that have pushed prices up are now working in the opposite direction. Even Jerome Powell has made it clear that housing is one thing he's eager to bring into balance. The specific words he uses are vague, but when he says things like this, you know exactly what he wants and where he wants the housing market to go. And nobody can stop the power of the Fed wrecking ball. Take a listen for yourself. These were his latest comments uploaded just yesterday.
Sorry, was I getting to your question there? Oh, housing, the housing part of it. Yeah, so you know, we look at housing. Of course, housing is significantly affected by these higher rates, which are really back where they were before the global financial crisis. They're not historically high, but they're much higher than they've been. And you're seeing housing activity decline. You're seeing housing prices growing at a faster rate, and in some parts of the country declining. You know, I would say the housing market was very overheated for the couple of years after the pandemic as demand increased and rates were low. We all know the stories of how overheated the housing market was, prices going up, many bidders, no conditions, that kind of thing. So the housing market needs to get back into a balance between supply and demand. We're well aware of what's going on there. From a financial stability standpoint, we didn't see in this cycle the kinds of poor credit underwriting that we saw before the global financial crisis. Housing credit was very much more carefully managed by the lenders. So it's a very different situation and doesn't appear to present financial stability issues. But no, we do understand that's really where a very big effect of our policies is.
To bring it all together, essentially the data is suggesting we are currently in the beginnings of a housing crash, and it's only a matter of time before we see a significant fall in prices to match the demand and supply numbers we've been observing over the last few months. The only question is how deep these cuts will go. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and make sure you leave a comment below letting me know what you're seeing in your local market.